what are some Immortal titles I'd like to see from Al Ewing and Marvel? So, as you may or may not know Ewing, he's cooked with Immortal Hulk and he's cooking with Immortal Thor. So, what are some other people I'd want to see this Immortal titles from? Well, honorable mentions, I say Iron Fist and Blue Marvel. Iron Fist isn't technically immortal, but the mantle is. But we already got a book called Immortal Iron Fist, which was peak. So, it might be a little something to have two different ones. And Blue Marvel also isn't technically immortal, he just has slow aging. I felt like mentioning it here because like Al Ewing has been the lifeline to Blue Marvel. Pretty much every book that Blue Marvel has been like a core or main member or relevant in after his first introduction book has been made by Al Ewing. So going in, I'm saying Sentry first. Sentry's also coming back. Didn't make a video on that, but Sentry can bring himself back like he's doing right now. So he might qualify, and then it's interesting to see how Al Ewing tackles Sentry's mentalness or just the whole relationship, like how he did with Hulk. And then of course Hulk and Thor have way more vast histories, so there's a lot more looseness he can do with Sentry. There's a lot more groundwork he can lay. Next up, I got Doctor Strange, who also is an immortal. He could be with magic, unless you want to like put the asterisks above the mortal. The whole immortal aspect is more indicative of the Sorcerer Supreme title instead of Strange himself. So either way, even if you want to take away the immortal part and just have it as a normal Doctor Strange series, I just feel like Al Ewing could very much cook with a Doctor Strange series. Now next is Hercules, because Hercules is actually immortal like Thor. He can fit right in. Greg Pak's Incredible Hercules, that's like a top 10 favorite Marvel story of mine. I love that. Now of course, I don't know if Al Ewing could get some of the humor chops down for Hercules, but I feel like he could do something grand. It was nice. Hercules' little tidbit with Athena over with Thor and Nyx and the Immortal Thor. Then next I got Ghost Rider, who's actually immortal, not an asterisk like a bunch of the other people. And I'm not too tapped in with Ghost Rider. I know one of my friends, Sloan Tempest, he's like real locked in Ghost Rider, and I know he's read Immortal Thor because I've seen him use Thor scans in like Thor versus videos from Immortal Thor. Don't know how big on Al Ewing he is, but I feel like Al Ewing might be able to chef something up with Ghost Rider. And lastly is Deadpool, who's not technically immortal, but unconventionally, you want to say immortal with the healing factor. And Immortal Thor tackles a lot of metaphysical narratives, with like Loki trying to free them from the narratives, being the god of story and the Skalds. We've had multiple god of stories, multiple narrative magic, narrative manipulation. Thor's been hit with the narrative. Like the narratives have been altered a lot in this metaphysical context. And him doing this intricate weaving of a story inside a story, I feel like he could really cook up with something with Deadpool. Like you wouldn't think Ewing for Deadpool. I don't know if he could get the comedy chops down, but if you let him cook, he might pull some Morrison Animal Man level shenanigery with Deadpool. Might be a sleeper.